I think your story is so compelling because it tells us the power of an arts degree, that someone with an MA in English became one of the most powerful women in corporate Canada.
Eileen was one of the first women that I know who basically declared their hand and said, I am going to become a professional director. That's my career path. And she smashed that glass ceiling.
Well, I was actually born in Toronto. My mother was an operating room nurse at the Toronto General Hospital, and my dad was a mounted policeman. He was a tough guy, very black and white, right and wrong, disciplinarian. Neither of my parents went to university, so I was first generation university goer, but they were absolutely determined. In second year, I got interested in Old English. It was just because the subject matter fascinated me, and it was like a foreign language, and I like foreign languages.
Old English is such a complex and arcane subject, if you will, that it takes huge concentration, attention to detail, a decoding of a completely different way of thinking about the world. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that she would go into a financial area.
But I often tell people that getting up in the morning and teaching those kids, and I was no older than a lot of them, I think you never worry about getting up in front of people again. I went up to the U of T Career Center and I plucked a card off a board that said that the Toronto Stock Exchange was looking for somebody in the communications department who could write. But I quickly discovered that I didn't know anything about what I was talking about, nothing. I went to the head of the stock exchange and I said, what am I going to do? And he said, well, why don't you take the securities course?
Didn't faze her at all because she said, I can learn the numbers, I can learn the other sides of the business, but they want me because I can think and because I can write.
So I started back to do my MBA in September of '73.
She made it because she was comfortable with herself. She was very natural, and she was able to give and take in the male-dominated world very effectively, almost from the start.
I was always odd, and I was often the only woman around the table, but I was never afraid. I mean, my dad taught me that. He always used to say, I'm not afraid of anybody, and he wasn't. And he said, you shouldn't be either. All through my career, no matter where I was, I always tried to keep one board on the side. But I found that more people wanted me to do board work than wanted me to do consulting work. And so I put the company to sleep and became a professional board member. There was a time when I was like 9 or something. I mean, it was really silly, but when I lost my husband in 2002, I really needed to work.
When I came to teachers and her name was put forward as a board member, I said, hey guys, you'd be crazy if you didn't get Eileen.
Most of all, she's a great team player. She really tries to get the most out of everybody around the table, and that's one of the key skills for a chairperson. It was a merger between two large families, and she's shown her governance skills in the way she helps administer 22 grandchildren.
She's not normal. No, and it takes a while, you know, for us kids to realize that, you know, we don't have to live up to that. We get to live with that. But she's so inspiring in how she chooses to live her life. And, you know, we can at any time, you know, ask her for advice, and she is, you know, right there, has an answer. She's on her BlackBerry all the time and will answer a question. So she really is just an incredible inspiration, a wonderful woman.